Hi all. This is more or less just a way for me to document the work I've been doing, but I'm on my father's property and I'm wanting to clear up and make these woods a little bit healthier. I have about an acre and a half of actual forest, and as you can see, it's a little grown up with vines and thorns and briars and all that kind of good stuff. But I figured it's time to come back here and try to do some good, so I guess I'll do a little walk around and tell you what I'm doing exactly to accomplish this task. Now, this is an area I've been working on for a couple of months now, just a few hours here and there, and this used to be as thick as this section over here. A little bit thinner, not as bad. Part of this process is removing a lot of vines. These vines happen to be ornamental bittersweet, not the native regular bittersweet. Ornamental bittersweet pretty much chokes out all trees and shrubs. Here's a little case. I've chopped these down just to kill them off and cut them up, but I'm gonna have to clear those up down to the base so they're more manageable if they try to resprout. Uncompared to like I would assume most people would go at this. I'm doing this all by hand. I'm going through and basically weeding the forest, which on a grand scale was not really possible, but for this scale, an acre and a half, and I got time to kill, so it works out. The main reason I'm doing this is to keep as much of the native species alive and also be observant of the species that are here. As you can see here, we got some paths going through, but this property was logged out about 10 years ago, and that was very non-beneficial for the forest here. So I'm going through and trying to leave as many of these small saplings, even though they're not the best. They are what I have to work with right now, and hopefully they will help the next generation of trees grow nice and strong. Here is a stump from the logging process. Lots of cherries and walnuts taken out of here. So it is, again, it wasn't very beneficial. It allowed a lot of sunlight to come into this forest and basically allow all these vines to just grow up right where they were. And then they climbed up on anything they could, clear these saplings. A lot of these saplings would have not made it a couple more years without being trimmed up like this. So everywhere you see here was pretty much unwalkable. So I'm coming through and taking care of these. One of the process is burning the vines themselves. Some people would say that's probably not a good idea. I should mulch them or leave them where they be. And I try very hard to do that. But the problem is there's so much mass created by these vines. I could put them in a pile, but the pile would be 12 feet high. And I don't really want that. I do plan to make brush piles for wildlife at some point with a bigger, sturdier, woodier material. But until then, I'm not going to do that. So what I do is I pick these vines, and I have another spot where I'm actually doing that right now, and burn the vines themselves to deal with the large mass of them. And then also it allows vines like grapevine and even this ornamental bittersweet, a chunk of it laying on the ground can root. Ornamental bittersweet, very unlikely. Grapevine, very likely. And so instead of having to deal with it in the future, just burn it, create some nice fertilizer in the form of ash. And actually the way I burn, I get so much of it going that underneath this ash is a good pile of carbonized material, which helps microfauna, myceliae, and soil health. Now, these spots are not going to be bare forever. My plan is when spring comes around, I'm going to put mix some wood chips into this mix and plant native wildflower and grass seed here. I figured this area has already been sterilized by the fire more or less, and so it'll be a great spot to put wildflower seed mix in and allow these different patches where I have burn areas to have flowers, and then they can slowly go out from there and choose the niches and spots that they prefer. As you can also see, there's myrtle on the ground. Obviously this is a non-native, and I am going to basically have to take this all up by hand. It's very ravenous over on that side of the trail, but luckily we have this trail here. Now there's myrtle growing in there, but I will try to take care of that the best I can from it encroaching over here once I clean this up. Luckily it's only a strip that goes from the other side of that tree out to about that dead stump right there. So I will take that up by hand. It's actually fairly easy since the myrtle mostly just grows underneath the leaf litter, not putting down too many roots. Now I will show you an area I'm working on right now. And my goal is basically, we'll call this a peninsula of the woods here because it's surrounded by trails. Here's a natural deer path coming in through here. My goal is to go all the way straight down that way to the other path and take care of these trees right here and make sure they are taken care of, got the vines off them. Like I said, I'm only really burning the vines. I'm trying to make sure that as much woody material stays on the ground, to allow the nutrition to go back into the ground and the process to continue, but also have food for the myceliae that are important to the forest and habitat for different animals and vertebrates and insects. So you can see right here I have a fire going. I started with just regular wood and I pile up the vines up there. They dry out, they catch on fire. I gotta feed this one here in a second. It's gonna go down, but see all these vines here are gonna be chopped down. Again, this is ornamental bittersweet or grapevine. It's gonna go in there. And here's an area I already started to clear out, but this whole area is very thick with it, mostly because this branch fell down and allowed structure for the vines to grow on, which allowed them to proliferate very fast. So I will clear out this entire area hopefully and get over there. And then this, again, once this is all burned down, I make sure all the material is burnt, and then this will be a bare spot. It has a little bit of light here in the canopy. I will plant wild grass and flower seed here in the spring and allow them to proliferate, hopefully at their own demise. So yeah, as of right now, I might come up with an update later once I got a little more material moved, but this is what I'm doing. This is the process I'm doing. Is the most efficient? No, but I hope it's a process that will show results and allow this forest to have a little bit greater biodiversity.